All right, we are back for another great episode of the Christmas special. And I know a lot of people probably wanted to read that. So let me pull it back up and I'll keep talking and the caption while people are reading those cartoons. And today we're going to focus on an industry for law firms. Now, let me explain the Christmas special. What I really love about the Christmas special is that what we've done is with all the businesses that we've worked with throughout the year and all the interviews that we've done, there are some ideas that have been shared that we think are phenomenal ideas that can help a business grow. So, what we are going to do is we're going to share some of those ideas because there are a lot of law firms that are trying to figure out how do I grow my law firm? Well, we've come across a lot of great conversations and a lot of great things. And the thing about the Christmas special is it's our chance to be able to give more to our audience, to give more to business owners. I know last year for, I guess you say for 2020, the Christmas special we did because we normally release one episode a day. Last year for the entire month of December, we released 2 episodes. And so I decided, you know what, for Christmas, we're going to give a gift not only to our audience, but to our team because it was a lot of work to do 2 episodes a day. So we're going to do this special where I just hop on and we're going to talk about some great ideas that can help lawyers grow their business. So I'm always super excited about the Christmas special because we get to give away more great ideas. Now, if you're new to, the Business Talk Library, let me give you a little bit of context on who I am. My name is Terrell Turner. I am the founder of the TL Turner Group, which is a accounting and finance firm that focuses on bookkeeping and CFO services. Now, our core clients, I'm saying the clients that we are phenomenal at, like we know those industries very well, are restaurants and law firms. I will be honest with you, it's probably difficult for you to find another firm out there in the area of bookkeeping and CFO services that is better than us because those are the industries we know very well. Now, we do have clients in other industries and we do serve other industries, but those are our two probably most core clients, and we do a lot of great work with them. I'm also the co-founder of the Business Talk Library, which is a free resource of a ton of great content that we release and that we share. We said in the past 19 months, we've done over 480 interviews of talking to business owners, talking to lawyers, talking to professionals, talking to professors, talking to different people across different industries, really having honest conversations about business, entrepreneurship. We've talked about different specialties, different technologies, different tools. And in all of those, there are a lot of great tips that come up that business owners can use to grow their business. So in the Christmas special, we actually dive into some of those ideas and we boil it down to, top 3. And this year we're doing it by segment because yesterday we released a video on the, Christmas special for restaurants. Today, we're doing the Christmas special for law firms. So let's jump into the topics. The first idea or the first topic that I want to talk about is something that was very huge. If you're trying to grow your law firm, content marketing is a gold mine. It is an opportunity that a lot of law firms are overlooking and a lot of law firms are missing out on if you don't understand it. Now, to give you a brief synopsis of what content marketing is. Content marketing, it's really about putting out content, whether it be via email, whether it be even content on a blog or content on your own website or content on social media across any of the social media platforms. And to be honest, if you want to go old school with it, you can actually mail people letters. I don't know if I necessarily advise that. I don't know if it'd be the most effective, and it also includes having, content on television or on radio. Is anywhere that you can communicate information to your ideal client. That is the goal. Now, the reason why content marketing is so phenomenal is because when it comes down to being a lawyer, One of the things that we've definitely learned in the many conversations with law firms and with lawyers and with marketers, it's one of the things that they talked about is if you are going to attract someone to hire you as a lawyer, there needs to be some type of trust factor there. The reason why content marketing works so well is because content allows people to get to know you and how you think about the subject matter before they actually meet you. And what that does is it starts to establish some trust and rapport before they even hop on the phone with you. Now, one of those very critical things that it becomes helpful for is if someone is going to actually hire you and trust you and put their legal matter in your hands, what they want to do is they want to feel confident that you know what you're doing. They want to feel confident that you're going to do a good job. And in doing that, with putting out the content, you actually help people feel more comfortable to do business with you. Plus, if people are seeing your content and they are familiar with your content, they're more likely to think about you when they find themselves in need of legal services. Now, one of the big questions that a lot of people ask is, okay, all right, I hear you talking about content, but what type of content should I put out? Like, I don't have any ideas. And one of the things that I will tell you is my background is accounting and finance. I'm a little jealous of lawyers because there is a ton of content. You are surrounded by content. I mean, when you think about the things that just come second nature to you, for example, if someone is going to, if let's say if you're a family law, you're in family law. If someone wants to get a divorce, a very important question people have is, hey, how long should I wait to start dating again if we're going through a separation? Now, of course, there is no hard, fast answer, but by you being able to just provide some legal perspective on, hey, here are some things to consider, some things to think about. If you can talk about a topic like that, imagine how many people that are going through a divorce or that are separated that probably would like to get out there and start dating again. If those people are hearing you talk about that topic, it could be an opportunity for them to find interest in hiring you to actually be the lawyer that represents them. Now, let's say if you are focused on estate planning, if you did a video or you did a blog post that said, hey, here are the 3 common things that people usually mess up when they try to do their estate planning themselves. If you're talking about those things, it brings it to people's mind so that people are aware of, like, you know what, this person exists and this person knows what they're talking about on this topic. Now, if you really take a step back and you think about the things that you think that are very common to you, they become great opportunities for you to actually turn it into a piece of content, whether it's in written form, whether it is, some type of graphic, or whether it's a short video. Now, a lot of people say, well, hey, I don't know if I'm really good on video. I would say if you're a lawyer and you have courtroom experience, I will say you're probably way better on video than you actually realize. But even if being on video is something that scares you or makes you a little nervous, you can always do written content, and it doesn't have to be like a 1,000-word paragraph. To be honest with you, some of the stuff that I've done in my business or I've seen other people do well of is you might write a paragraph or 2, post it on social media or on, let's say, on LinkedIn. And it's an important topic of, hey, before you expand your business or before you make an offer for these full-time employees, here are 4 legal matters you need to be aware of. Write a paragraph or 2 on the topic. Tell people, hey, follow us for more content. And what will happen is you'll start to see people actually have interest in it. Now, the thing about, your content that you want to make sure that you are very, very clear on, and I cannot stress this as much, the only way your content becomes a value add for your business is if you really grasp this next idea. And this next idea is audience clarity. You have to know who your audience is. Now, when I say your audience, thinking about, who are your target clients? What would be the ideal type of client for your business? Who is that person, or who are those people, or who are those organizations? If you don't have a very clear image of who your target audience is, or the type of service, or really the type of problems you solve for your clients, if you don't have that in clear focus, you are going to struggle with content marketing because you're not going to know what to make. You're not going to know what to say. And one of the things that I tell people to do is take a step back. Now, putting on my CFO hat for law firms, one of the things that I love doing is looking at your revenue by practice area. And let's really look, okay, where are you really making money? Like, what is bringing in money for your law firm? Like, where's your team really spending your time? Now, one of the things that I really love doing, that is really challenging people to what you think you make money on may not necessarily be true. So when we actually look at the data, it will tell us what the real story is. And I've seen this a lot, especially with family law practice, where people are like, oh, we do family law. Okay. There are different types of family law. I mean, you got adoption, you got divorces. I mean, there's a lot more to family law than just this broad category. And as we start to dig a little bit deeper, what we started realizing is some people said, you know what? There was a specific type of divorce, like divorce where children are involved, or uncontested divorces. And when we started digging a little bit deeper, we started realizing that most of your revenue is coming from this type of client. Like, maybe that's a sign of that's your target audience. Your target audience isn't just anybody who wants a divorce. Maybe it's a specific type of divorce situation. I mean, even when you look at estate planning, say, well, everyone needs an estate plan. Well, let's look at the demographics of your real audience. Who are the people who are most likely to pay for your service? Who are the people you like working with the most? That becomes your ability to be able to put better characteristics to who your audience is. Because when you are making content, you want to make sure that your content is contextual to the people that you're interested in working with. For example, if you're a family lawyer, and you want to focus on, divorce cases that involve children, you can create some content that talks about, hey, how to develop a healthy strategy for your children when you're going through a divorce. What this starts to do is it starts to bring you to mind, or to the top of the mind, when there are parents who have children that are going through a divorce. It brings your firm to mind. And let's say if you're a litigation attorney, I mean, one of the things you can talk about is, hey, here are 3 common things that cause people to get into legal trouble. And you can talk about those things, and it brings your firm to mind as you talk about those. But all of that comes when you have real clarity on who your audience is. And I'll be honest with you, it's scary to get specific, but the more specific, the better. Now, the third thing that I want to talk about, it's be a guest. Now, there are thousands of podcasts that are out there. There are thousands of YouTubers that are out there. One of the areas that I have seen, lawyers really miss an opportunity on is being a guest. Now, when I say being a guest, it's really looking, again, once you know who your audience is, looking at a podcast to say, okay, all right, who actually has a voice with my audience? Meaning, let's say if you're a law firm, you focus on supporting businesses and corporations. You specialize in legal counsel for businesses. Well, there are a ton of business podcasts that you can go on and talk about, hey, here are some of the top legal issues that businesses end up getting into. And you can talk about those topics. Now, the question you're probably asking is, okay, so how do I become a guest on all these shows? What I would recommend is, if you don't already have an assistant, or you can get a virtual assistant, and the task or the responsibility becomes, hey, let's make a list of the types of business podcasts that we like, or types of business podcasts that speak to people who are in our audience. So let's say if you're a business related podcast and you like to focus on early stage entrepreneurs, well, what are some podcasts that really target early stage entrepreneurs? And then let's reach out to the host, and here's the exact message that you can say. Hey, we found your show to be interesting because you speak to the same type of people that we help from a legal standpoint. Would love to be a guest to talk about three of the top legal issues that early stage entrepreneurs get into and how they can avoid it. I am telling you, if you send that message to a podcast host who focuses on early stage entrepreneurship, you will definitely get some messages back, because they will come back and say, hey, you know what, that could be a great topic for my audience, because, hey, everyone knows that, hey, there are some legal realities that I just don't know if you don't really practice law like that. And most people will respect the fact that, hey, you have some value to add to this audience. So even if you're looking at different types of, let's say you're looking at malpractice, find a podcast that focuses on talking to doctors or talking to medical professionals, and you can send a message to the host. Hey, our practice focuses on malpractice lawsuits. We'll love to be a guest to talk about two of the top things that lead doctors and medical professionals to get in trouble with malpractice lawsuits. When you bring that up to the host, they will be glad to open their doors to bring you on as a guest, because you have now proven to them that you can add a level of value to their audience that they can't do on their own, especially if they're not a lawyer. They won't be able to tell their audience what you know. But the benefit of that is you get to come on their show, you get to share value, you get to talk about yourself, you get to talk about your firm, and you get to talk about your firm in front of an audience that actually may need your services or may be interested in hiring your firm. So it becomes a great way for you to leverage the effort of someone else's podcast to be able to get your message out. And I'm telling you that there are a ton of business or subject matter podcasts that would love to have a lawyer on that can talk about some of the legal aspects of their target audience's interests. And lawyers, you're perfect to do that, because you don't necessarily have to give them, very specific details, because you don't want to violate ethics or violate any issues with the bar, but you can talk about some general topics that you are allowed, or that it is ethically okay for you to talk about. And what that does is it brings you top of mind for people who are in your target audience. So that is today's Christmas special for law firms. Those three ideas: content marketing, it is a gold mine for law firms. Being very clear on who your audience is, that takes it up to a whole new level. And being a guest, there are a ton of podcasts out there that would love to have a lawyer on to talk about, hey, a key topic that is important to their target audience. As always, we love providing great content. And for the TL Turner Group, one of the things that we've done, because like I said, we love supporting and helping lawyers, is we've created a special page on our website. So if you go to the tlturnergroup.com, you click on industries and you look at law firms, we have several videos out there to really help law firms. One is the Golden Financial Rule for law firms, our CFO services for law firms, a real thing, because there are a lot of law firms that are paying for CFO services, but what they are struggling with is they're not really getting much value out of it. And so in that, we really talk about, like, hey, here's the gimmick that happens sometimes with some accounting firms that tell you they offer CFO services, and how to avoid those. Because as a law firm, you understand that, hey, you're running a business. And what you don't want to do is you don't want to waste your money paying for something that you're not getting the value for. And then we also talk about, finance topics that every law firm needs to know. And we also dive in some specific things. And one of the big things that I think is really, really key is when to fire your accountant, because there are a lot of law firm owners that are struggling trying to figure out, like, hey, you know what, do we have the right person, working on what we're doing? Hey, are we paying the right person? Because you would probably be very annoyed if you knew the number of law firms that are working with a bookkeeper and they're struggling because they're not getting the value. And just to give you a very, be very transparent with you, a lot of law firms are working with an accountant that specializes in taxation. Now, that accountant may tell them, like, hey, we'll do your bookkeeping, and we also provide CFO services. But the truth of the matter is, they specialize in taxation, which means they can do the other ones, but they're really not all that great at it. And a lot of times, law firm owners are struggling because they're trying to get bookkeeping support from a tax specialist, and it's just not going well. And what I will tell you is, everyone who advertises bookkeeping and CFO services as an accountant, they're not the best fit for you. And I don't say that so you can leave them and come do business with me. I say that because it is something that I have seen over and over again, where there was someone who started off just doing the tax returns, and then they said, hey, we can do bookkeeping and CFO services. And then they start having a lot of problems with that accounting firm. So I'm telling you, in the video, we talk about, how to discern, is your accountant really a bookkeeper? Are they a tax specialist, or are they CFO? And when to fire your accountant, or when to adjust your arrangement with your accountant, because you want to make sure that your money is being well spent. So thank you so much for tuning in to the Christmas special for lawyers. I hope you love the cartoon. I hope you love the content. And as always, thank you so much for tuning in.